I'm Prue, cook,
Duck fat is very delicious.
caterer, restaurateur, campaigner and writer. But I'm also a dead keen gardener.
Oh, it smells so good.
My husband John and I
Could I have something for the weekend, please?
are moving to a new home and building a brand new garden from scratch.
Yeah, there. Perfect.
That's the sort of thing that happens.
Everybody thought we were helping a drunk.
Bit for 1 inch more.
You've done it.
We'll seek inspiration from Britain's best gardens.
This is perfection. Gosh, look at that view. That is so good.
As I'm determined to create a beautiful outdoor space
It's fantastic.
that'll give us a new lease of life.
Oh, terrific! Thanks.
From the very beginning, the plan for our new garden was always that it should blend into the surrounding Cotswold landscape and be full of colour and interest all year round. So, John and I designed a wide, open lawn in front of the house with large perennial beds that would be bursting with colour in the summer and autumn, plus winter interest.
My main thing was to have less labour-intensive beds. And they're all a mixture of grasses and of pretty hardy plants that don't need too much watering.
Keen to give everything time to establish, we laid out these beds while the house was being built. But there's plenty of planting and work still to do.
And then I just deliberately left this open.
I love the idea of gardens just falling into the countryside, seamlessly. So once the barn has gone and opened up the view, we'll create a new border in its place. And the 2 perennial beds, one gold, the other blue, on either side of the lawn, will help frame the new vista. Over in the orchard, we want a carpet of native wildflowers. And as a finishing touch, we will rehome favourite statues and pots, and all the memories that come with them.
Just turn that round.
After a flurry of snow, the gardening team, Philippa and Ratty, begin the tricky task of moving our far too large collection of pots and statues from my former home.
One of the most interesting things about having a new house is what do you take from the old house? And as I'm sentimental about a lot of furniture and I'm sentimental about a lot of statues and plants and urns, what I don't want to do is to, just for the sake of saving them, is to clutter up the design of the new place. Let's look at the map or the plan. Have you got it?
With so many urns, statues and pots to rehome, John and I are putting our heads together to see which makes the final list.
These are the... Get it round the right way.
I don't know where we're going to put half the
Well, look,
stuff.
let's list what we've got to deal with. We have a stone tulip vase.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, it's huge. It's that high, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
What else have we got to bring down?
The boy with a thorn in his foot. And then what about my statue of my first husband? Do you have objection to him coming here?
Well, I think it's absolutely vital that he's here.
Some decisions are easier than others. I could hardly leave behind the bust of my first husband, Rain.
Oh, he's not quite as heavy as I thought he might be.
But everyone's surprised that I've chosen to also bring along Henry, an ex-theatrical prop I've grown rather fond of, but who's definitely seen better days.
With regard to decisions in the garden, I mean, without doubt, Prue is #1 in charge. I think we'll take the shortest route. And my job is destruction and creation, and everything in between. Oh, job done. I've never moved him before, but I know he's not heavy.
Got him all?
I've got him all. Yep. Oh, this is not a good position. Can you give this guy a hug and take him away from me?
Before you
Gotta go, you gotta go.
Well, so much for not cluttering up our new home. We look like a reclamation yard. But that's how it'll have to stay for the time being, with rain flat on his back, poor chap.
And darling, we've got to put rain into the orchard, I think.
Well, we couldn't bring the plinth because the ground was so soft.
So I thought in the middle of the orchard.
Yeah, fine. I think, well, there's a lovely space for it there.
The orchard will be a perfect home for Rain. He just needs a plinth to sit on. Sounds like a job for the all-purpose John. John, over to you, darling. It's March, and the daffodils are adding their reliable burst of colour to the garden. In the big borders, the grasses like the scanthus and hardy perennials like sedum have been putting on a great display all winter. Many would be tempted to tidy up and cut them back months ago, but I like to leave them standing. They look so great with the frost on them and snow, and also they provide a terrific haven for all sorts of wildlife.
The grass gardens we've built are working a treat. They're beautiful for 10 months of the year. 2 months of the year, no joy, just flat. But otherwise, they're architectural in winter and colourful in the summer.
But our carefully nurtured borders are getting some unnecessary attention from our dogs, Teasel and Tatty.
Oi, Teasel.
Try as we might, we cannot keep them out.
Yes, that's a lot of good that electric fence is doing, isn't it? It's obviously not working. The idea of the electric fence was to keep the dogs out. They've gone straight through the membrane and everything. And on the other side, it's worse. Somebody told me we put chili flakes down, so we got 2 kilos of chili flakes. And the dogs just dug that up too. I don't know how we're going to stop them. Obviously not on.
Lovely as these borders have been, with the shapes and textures of the plants to enjoy all winter, March is the perfect time to cut them right back to make way for new growth.
Right, shall we prune back the ornamental grasses? I'll stick with the perennials.
Well, I'll do the top ones.
Yeah,
I'll do with
the tall ones.
Hedge cutter. Ratty?
Ratty?
Yes.
Do you reckon you'll do the medium and bottom ones?
Yeah.
That's great. Let's get going.
John likes the sort of things that go with boys' toys. You know, he likes hedge trimmers and chainsaws and things that I don't like.
OK, we're good.
Maybe that's the key to a successful marriage, is to have a project that you both enjoy doing and you have different skills at.
I'm cutting these at sort of trying to do 4 to 6 inches so that it creates its own mulch. The theory is that it all drops down to the ground and adds to the mulch. We will still be adding a mulch on top for any sort of berry patches, but it does work wonders.
It's also much easier to leave clippings where they fall, and it does help to keep moisture in the soil. Whatever the season, there's always something to keep us busy in the garden. And the arrival of warmer weather means grass mowing season starts in earnest. And John can do the sort of gardening he likes best. With such a lot of lawn to trim, he's looking for new ideas. But leaving it to grow wild does not seem to be one of them.
I'm hoping that the way we've laid out this garden, there'll be a lot less work. But we are also going to get robot mowers. You get up in the morning and there they are beavering away. Most satisfying.
We finally moved all our favourite pots and statues to our new garden. And for the last few days, I've been sorting out Henry.
Hello, Henry.
I've patched up a few holes and decided on a new accessory.
He didn't have a hat before, but this is one of John's fishing hats, which will never go fishing with John again. And I glued it on with fiberglass, and I think it looks great.
Time for a final lick of weatherproof paint.
He started life as a prop for the RSC at Stratford. And one day they had a sale of props. And we went along and I bought him for £5. And the only way we could carry him between us was It looked as if we were carrying a drunk along, and people kept saying, is he all right? Is he all right? I mean, he might not be Rodin's thinker exactly, but I think he's pretty good.
My fiberglass friend is fully restored.
Oh, well done. That's right, more or less. Let me have a look. I'll go back a bit. He's very shiny. Yes, no, I think the hat makes him look younger.
With luck, the new and improved Henry will now last for years to come. It's very satisfying to tick another job off the to-do list. It's May, and our fruit trees are bursting with blossom. John and I want to do our bit to help insects thrive in the garden. So we decided to do something about it and have honeybees in the orchard. Now we're trying to work out where we should place the hives.
All the way along the back, where it would be pretty protected.
Yeah, just beyond the daff.
Well, yeah, just along that sort of daff thing.
But, of course, neither of us have a clue about looking after bees, so we're definitely going to need some expert advice. As the garden moves into warmer weather, John and I are hoping to establish bees on the farm. And with Cotswold bees only down the road, it's time to find out whether we can turn our fantasy into reality.
Do you fancy yourself as a beekeeper?
Sort of yes and no, with a slight emphasis on no.
I think it would be really good.
The question is, are we up to the job?
Hello, morning. I'm Chris.
You're Chris.
Hello, I'm John.
Chris.
Welcome
Prue.
to Bee Towers. Another gorgeous May day in the Cotswolds. So I understand you're interested in keeping bees.
We might be.
I've set up for you to have a look at some.
With more than 30 years under his belt as a beekeeper and bee champion,
Oh, my goodness.
Chris's beginner's guide should help us make a decision.
This is a slice through a hive. So the big frame at the bottom is where the queen is actually laying her eggs and raising all the young.
I can't help but notice a blue dot.
OK, so the blue dot is the queen.
Oh, my goodness.
And you'll see beeswax over the top of the honey. That seals in the honey, and we know that honey is good for at least 3,000 years once under there, because they've taken comb out of the tombs of the pharaohs, and it's as edible as the day they put it in.
Is the bee population going down?
Yes. Everybody talks about pesticides, and pesticides, yes, they are a problem, but our number one problem is lack of flowers, and our number two problem is climate change. And what a lot of people don't realise is bees want a diversity. It's just like you and me. We don't want to be eating the same thing every single day.
Are wildflowers better than cultivated flowers, or doesn't it matter?
Some wildflowers are good for bees and some cultivated flowers are, and some are better for different types of bees. So honeybees will tend to go for the smaller flowers because their proboscis, their tongue, isn't terribly long. The other thing is that honeybees can't see red. So they tend to more go for the flowers that are either blue or white, or those flowers that actually give off an ultraviolet light, because they can see ultraviolet but they can't see red.
How interesting.
It's looking at the individual flowers, and it also needs to be flowers that either produce a lot of nectar or produce a lot of pollen. Those are the two things that they really want, nectar and pollen. And they need large amounts of it. A hive during its season, during the summer, that's going to need about 40 to 50 pounds in weight of pollen just to keep it going, just for its own use. So the numbers are just eye-watering with regard to bees.
I can see this is going to be fascinating.
The moment I've been slightly dreading has arrived. Time to get up close and personal with bees.
So now the real fun begins.
I'm all for a bit of protection, thank you.
Thank you. Like getting into a wetsuit.
It's a really sexy suit, isn't it? Zip the lady up.
Zip the lady up.
Now, to crack open our first ever hive. The good news is Chris assures us his bees are very calm.
Very gently put your hive tool in there, and you're going to twist it, not pull. Now Pull the frame back towards you and lift very gently.
Fantastic. Look at them.
So we take that back. You can actually see here all the nectar glistening in there.
Oh, yeah.
So they haven't yet quite converted it to honey. So this is the inspection you're going to be doing every 7 to 10 days during the season.
Chris, you know, it's hugely tempting. Some bit of good sense in my head says that I will never manage this.
They are a commitment, no different to a dog or a cat.
But one really wants to because they're such a wonderful organism and they're doing such a great job.
They are
should have more
magnificent,
help.
magnificent creatures.
Of course, there is a rather lovely end product.
1 teaspoon of honey, that's the life's work of 12 bees. So always make sure you lick the spoon.
That is unlike any honey I've ever had.
I hope in a good way.
In a good way. Oh, it's delicious. And you're right, it's got a sort of slightly acidic end.
No, it's got a lovely aftertaste.
I spend so much of my time eating really complicated food, and this is just so basic and so simple and so delicious.
I've really enjoyed today. So interesting on so many levels.
No, I agree. Interesting on all fronts. And it's possible for you and me to do our bit for bees.
Well, there's no question we are going to do it. It's just a question of how.
Exactly. We have to have a wildflower area, and a big one. Otherwise, these bees are not going to be happy. So
We'll have it, don't worry. And I should be pleased because I won't have to maintain it.
good.
Back at the farm, John's received a package he's been looking forward to.
Right, this has just arrived from China. It's rather exciting. So let's see what we've got here.
He's got this very beautiful tulip-shaped urn. And he said we should plant it up something. And I said, well, you know, it's so far away, we'll forget to water it. I said, you should just do one of your metal, you know, and I was joking.
But John being John, no sooner said than done, and it's time to test out this plant-shaped metal sculpture.
I think it needs to be quite a bit higher. It'll get lost in here. And more leaves to fill up this gap here. I love to work out a different way to do something that looks to me immediately as unnecessarily complicated. They don't do a bigger one than this, so I shall have to make it myself, which is going to be good fun. Quite like the noise, funnily enough.
Philippa and I have been cooking up a plan of our own to brighten up the same corner of the garden between the two oak trees and John's urn.
I'm trying to convince Mr. P to create some more wild elements to the garden. So these alliums we're going to put in amongst the grasses.
I love the idea of adding wilder, more unkempt areas, and so will the honeybees. But John is a neat freak and likes a well-mown lawn.
John does like things very neat in the garden, but I think this looks so nice. I think he'll like it. Fingers crossed.
Alliums include many delicious edible plants like garlic, leeks, onions. But these are the ornamental variety. Tall, bulbous perennials with fabulous globe-like flower heads in spring and early summer.
Just wanted to have a chat to you about the more wild areas. How are you feeling about the long grass?
What are those? Are those alliums?
Yeah.
How funny. Really, I never knew there were alliums in there.
There weren't. We're seeking approval.
I love the idea. I think it's marvellous. When can I mow it?
This is the question. If you wanted to keep them unmown, you would have the sculptural heads of the alliums going right through to the autumn.
Well, I suppose we just suck it and see and
Yeah, if you
mow it
think...
when they have to be mowed.
It's good to see John embracing his wild side. Sold on the idea of welcoming honeybees, we want to make sure that when our bees arrive, they have a variety of flowers to feed on. Alliums are a sure winner, but we also want lots of wildflowers. We had scattered seeds in the orchard, but it hasn't gone to plan.
You can see why the wildflowers never got a chance, because it's just too rich, isn't it? The grasses happy and it will smother any wildflower.
We've given it 2 mows this season so far, but I think we're not going to give it another one.
While the grass flourished, the wildflowers did not. So John has a plan B.
I really do agree that this is not the right place for our wildflowers.
No.
It's just...
When the barn's gone at the other end of the other side of the croquet field, we can probably have 2 or 3 acres of...
Yes, and just make it really...
Yeah, rough.
rough.
Decision made. We want our bees to be a success, so we have to get the wildflowers right this time. We need some advice, and I know just the person to ask. A few weeks later, we go to the magnificent Kiftsgate Court Gardens in North Gloucestershire. Here, owner and friend Anne Chambers has created a beautiful wildflower garden from scratch that we're really keen to see. But it'd be rude not to first enjoy the stunning herbaceous borders and the roses they're famous for.
You know, Anne, I don't think I've ever seen your garden look better.
Oh, thank you, Prue. There's lots of colour.
And I like the way you chuck all the colour in together.
Yes, I mean...
I'm sure you have a plan.
Not really. I always think the wide border is pinks and mauves and sort of, and grey, you know, sort of different contrasts.
What Cotswold colours,
Cotswold colours, exactly.
I love that.
Yes.
Just everything about it. It's delicate, its colour is...
It's a rose, isn't it?
Yes,
Lovely.
a China rose, mutabilis. Very pretty because that sort of contrasts to the pink and the apricot. And it goes on flowering for a long time.
And then this curious thing is just lovely.
So that's a sanguisorbia, pink squirrel tails. But again, it's just quite interesting and a different shape. Because I think in gardening, it's sort of interesting to have different contrasts of shapes and colours and leaves and all the other things, not just the flowers.
Well, you can always be relied on to have something I've never clapped eyes on in my life. It's just heaven, isn't it?
Wonderful. Love it.
However, we're here about wildflowers, not about herbaceous borders.
Right. So let's go and see the wildflower area.
Anne added the garden's small but packed wildflower plot over 5 years ago and has experimented ever since. So if anyone knows the do's and don'ts, it's her.
That is just amazing, isn't it? It's like everybody's dream of a wild garden.
Well, I hope so. We tried to do an annual wildflower meadow and it was a disaster. So this is a perennial wildflower meadow and we sort of add things every year and see what does well.
Do you have to plant them or are they scattering seeds?
No, we plant, but then hopefully they seed themselves.
So, Anne, of this multitude, what should we start with? I want things that will definitely do.
Well, I think the scabiouses will do, the yarrows, the achilles, which you can get, which you can get in different colours.
I like the fact that you plant stuff that you know will grow, because wildflowers, I mean, we've all done it. You scatter a wildflower seed collection, and you think they're all going to come up, and what comes up is the grass, and it kills all the flowers.
Absolutely, all the thugs really appear.
Yeah. So let's try and get to the wildflower rules. Don't feed them. They want poor soil.
They want very poor soil.
Did you scrape the ground?
Yes, yes, we did, and we put in a lot of sand because our soil is so good, so we wanted to weaken the soil.
And then now what about controlling the grass? Because grass can always overtake them.
Yes. Well, here we haven't got yellow rattle, but yellow rattle is a wonderful parasite that sort of keeps the grass under control. But further on, we'll see in the orchard, we do have it.
The grass in our orchard smothered the wildflowers. So if there's a plant to keep it at bay, I want to know all about it.
I brought you here to show you the yellow rattle. Do you see this? This is all the seed of it. We have to add more every year, but it does keep the grass down. You can see where it is.
How does it work? I mean, it's a little yellow plant.
It's a sort of parasite that eats the roots of the grass underneath the soil. So it
weakens the grass.
It weakens the grass. I mean, because the yellow rattle will only attack the grass. It won't attack the wildflowers. We mow this really hard to the ground in August. Take up all the grass clippings so it's bare. It's really bare earth. And then we put in the seed for the yellow rattle.
So you have to be really cruel. You have to take away the feed that nature would naturally have given it.
Exactly, exactly.
You're going to have a busy August because it'll be a huge job.
Exhausting.
Huge job or not, I'm now more confident that we can nurture a new wildflower meadow in our garden. It's June, and the garden is finally in full swing. John's on a mission to make a large metal agave plant to fit inside his tulip urn. Malcolm Sked, the blacksmith, has been persuaded to make the sculpture, and today John has arrived to see the finished article.
I think with the light behind it, that's looking good. Now, can we bend these? I don't want to bend them too much because I've got to paint them. I think it's wonderful. Prue's going to love this. She's got a wonderful sense of humour.
Back in the barn a few days later, and John wastes no time getting creative with red and gold spray paint.
Ooh, look at that. That really is good. I'm liking that.
This will certainly create a statement, even in a distant corner of the garden. But I must admit, I am yet to be convinced.
Right.
Despite being summer, it's a cold, wet day. And finally, there's progress getting the bust of my first husband, Rain, sighted. After a long wait in the potyard, we've at last found him the perfect plinth to sit on.
Shall we have
I
a go?
think it's fine. The plinth is fine,
Okay.
I think.
Are we good?
With Ratty's help, it's just a question of which direction he should face.
There we are. All right. Well, there he is.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy with him. That, I mean, actually, it works very well because his elbow is sitting just on the edge.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there we go.
Well, I think it's very good of you to take so much trouble about your predecessor.
The summer sun has finally arrived, and the garden is relishing it. A perfect day to check out the lower field where we're hoping to grow wildflowers.
So this is where we're going to have a wildflower meadow, huh?
Well, I think nature's doing a pretty good
Oh,
job.
look at that.
With an unexpected carpet of wild mayweed, common poppies and oxeye daisies, the field we've set aside to be our future wildflower meadow is already showing us how it's done.
It's really encouraging, darling, when we think of the disaster we had in the orchard trying to grow wildflowers by giving them too much compost and too much love. But this time, because we've done nothing but neglect and chuck rubble on it, it's so encouraging. I mean, that's what nature wants, so we'll let her have her way.
I mean, to say it's God-given is pretty accurate.
This miraculous wildflower meadow is not only a surprise bonus for this year, but also means food for our new bees. It's not just the wildflowers that have taken off. The perennial borders are bursting with colour, from the rich purple of sun-loving lavender to the bright orange flowers of helenium.
I come from South Africa. I like really strong colours. And so from the start, I had what my Cotswolds posh friends would think of as rather a vulgar garden. And I still like bright colours.
As the borders fill up with summer growth, it's now easy to see gaps that need filling. Thanks to our digging dogs, there's a space on the end of the gold border, perfect for some artemisia or wormwood.
This plant has quite inconspicuous yellow flowers on it, but it's known for its lovely feathery foliage, really.
Loving a sunny, well-drained spot, the cool silver aromatic foliage of this artemisia should contrast nicely with the gold border's riot of hot colours. Also in full bloom, the blue border is maturing well, and it's a good opportunity for us to see what's working and what we need to rethink.
I think this is looking lovely, this. But I think we need a really sharp pink.
Okay.
Maybe pink cosmos plant.
They are annuals, it's cheating.
but it needs a bright bit of pink.
I'm really pleased with this sculptural perennial, sea holly. The flowers are very long-lasting, and I love cutting them and using them dried for winter arrangements in the house.
The trouble with grasses is I don't know what is a self-sown grass and what is a couch, because a couch comes up on its own, looks rather good.
Weeds or not, the grasses are thriving. Sadly, the same can't be said for the rosemary.
Look, poor things, I think this is just water, too much water. We should never have put them here. Rosemary hates too much water. I think we should take them all out, the rosemary's out. I think we should have something else here.
I have noticed a couple of nettles over there. That's my department. That's my department. Flowers are yours, nettles are mine.
John, we're on a walk, not a weed. Darling?
Yes, darling.
Yes, darling is the correct answer.
Our first 2 perennial borders are a colourful success. The question now is what to do with the space opened up by the barn's removal.
Do you think that you will have another grass garden somewhere here?
Well, I am beginning to think that it's too much lawn. It's a lot of lawn.
I mean, now's the time to think about it. Maybe one could just, having a little round grass garden within the view could be nice.
Do you know, I honestly don't know.
I think it's going to be trying to restrain oneself rather than...
Well, exactly, and
encourage.
here are you having ideas of more and more flower beds.
But John is right. If we want to add another border next year, we must start thinking about it now. In need of fresh ideas, both for a new border and to fill some gaps in our existing blue and gold beds, we head east to Waterperry Gardens, renowned for its amazing herbaceous borders, both old and new.
My goodness me, this is
My
fantastic.
God, look at that, darling. Just look at it. Oh,
It's just the sheer scale of it. How do they get everything to grow so tall?
it's just so enormous. I think it's absolutely beautiful, but it fills me with horror. I mean, the work, the staking, the weeding, the renewing, the cutting back. Endless. Absolutely endless, but it is beautifully done.
For 40 years, Waterperry was a renowned horticultural college for ladies. But today it's the job of head gardener Pat and her team to keep it all in order.
We can't get over this border. It is just so beautiful.
It's sheer height. I can't get over the...
We do a lot of hazel staking, so come May, you'll find us in the borders, because we like to stake them when they're half to 2/3 of their final height.
Right.
Because it's hopeless trying to stake something which has already flopped.
No,
isn't it?
well, you've lost the battle if you don't get in beforehand.
You know, Pat, this is absolutely inspiring. We need low maintenance.
Well, I think if you head off over in that direction, there'll be something more suited for you over there.
We'll do that.
Thank you,
lovely.
Pat. This
You're
has
very
been
welcome.
absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much, thank you.
We need more of that.
It's not long before we find just what we're after.
Oh, look at this. This is
Oh, that's
lovely.
beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is much more us.
Yeah.
Really.
A border packed to the gunnels with undemanding grasses and hardy perennials.
This is a bit like Boris Johnson's hair.
And your hair.
Rob, who designed and tends this bed, is on hand to tell us more.
If I'm right, I hope I'm right, this is a lot less work than
Very
that
much
one.
so. It was supposed to be self-sustaining because obviously the staking takes so much work. Drought tolerant. Apart from the first year, I never water anything in this border. And sometimes it gets a bit desperate, but they all come back and they all look fine for the winter. Winter interest, because the other border we cut down in November. Disease resistant. And it's good for wildlife, that you just got something during the winter. You've got that haven for things to live in.
Do you know, I really want this.
I like
love
it
it
very
too.
much.
This is one you don't have to cut down hard, so you can comb it, and you comb it in February.
And you comb it with your hands, or
No, I comb it with a springbox rake.
But you know, I rather like the dead ones because they give it 2 or 3 colours, don't they?
Pheasant's tail grass is a perfect name for this elegant semi-evergreen with its rich russet colours.
I'd like to show you this plant.
OK.
Much underused.
It's a persicaria,
It is. It's a persicaria and Plexicalis alba. It's fantastic. See the way the actual flower just kinks at the top. Great in shade. If you ever use it in shade, gets no disease, stands up of itself, flowers for a long time.
Gardener's dream.
It is.
Well, I love it.
That clump hasn't been divided in 10 years. And look, even there's no weeds in it.
We need one. Or 7.
I just love the wiggle on Alba's narrow spires. A potential candidate for our new border, I am sure.
I like that.
That very feathery one.
Yeah.
What is
That's
that?
Malina. That's Malina transparent. And the idea is, as things flower behind it, it just sort of blurred the vision. You get a slightly different view of what you're
Yes,
looking
it's like a gauze.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So, darling, this is what we're aiming for, isn't it? Low maintenance, no watering, or no watering after they've had a year of TLC when they're young, and then no spraying and no staking.
I would find it very hard not to stake.
Yeah, but you're a neat freak.
With so many hassle-free grasses and perennials to choose from, I'm hoping we can create a fabulous new border and add to the existing ones without too much extra work.
I think today's been one of the best days, too. It's been
Well,
really
I've
good.
seen at least 6 grasses that I would love to have.
We've got now in the multicoloured grass, but we must get some of that Boris Johnson.
Oh, Boris Johnson hair, the gauzy.
Yes.
I mean, now you're talking a gardening language that I understand. I can visualise it immediately.
This has been the most wonderful visit, and we've learned so much about choosing and maintaining plants to save water and work. Food for thought for a future border. It's bee day. With the meadow full of self-sown wildflowers and the garden in full bloom, beekeeper Chris has brought over our new bees.
So here are your first bees.
How wonderful.
And here's your queen already.
And she's the only one.
She's the only queen in the hive, so she's the mother of all the bees. Each one of these little cells here will be a new bee in just a few days' time.
And the open ones are already been hatched.
And then they fill it up with honey.
Well, they'll fill it up with more bees to start with. We want to get up to about 50,000 bees, and then they'll start putting honey in the next box that we'll put on the top. So what we're going to do now, close up the frames so they're all touching in the right place. That's it, thank you, John. Put the roof on. And there we are. And they're already going in and out of the new entrance. They're happy, and they're pointing directly at the wildflower field.
Good. That's where the food is.
Exactly. The snack bar's over there.
These are the first of 18 hives that we're going to site on the farm.
Isn't that amazing?
It's fantastic.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's really, really
That's wonderful.
Even though Chris has kindly agreed to help manage them for us, I'm still a bit nervous.
So I feel I'm responsible for thousands of little lives here. I mean, what must we do?
All you need to do is just check the hives are fine, they haven't been knocked over or anything like that. Just enjoy your bees now.
The pollinating power of our bees will be a huge plus for all the garden, and I hope soon we may even have our own honey.
I have visions of us in our really doddery old age. We'll come whizzing down on our motorised zimmers and we'll collect our honey from the bees. Yeah.
Well, I think that'll be something to look forward to.
Not the old age part, just just the honey.
Welcome to the joys of British weather.
Philippa is planting the Boris hairgrass and some daylilies we picked up at Waterperry.
They're going to work beautifully at the front of this border because we've got a natural gap here caused by nature. For our four-legged friends, that is. We've managed to get some more hemerocallis here, the daylily, and it's a nice crimson like that one.
The aptly named daylily may have short-lived flowers, but luckily it produces plenty for a lasting summer display.
I'm just breaking the roots off because the danger is, because they're pot-bound, they're just going to go round and round in circles. So you just want to redirect the roots so that they go out into the soil.
It turns out our digging dogs are rather partial to bone meal fertiliser. So we've swapped to chicken manure in the hope that it will deter them.
Right, let's hope those dogs haven't got a taste for pelleted poultry manure this time.
A few days later, Malcolm the blacksmith is on site to help John add the finishing touches to his masterpiece.
The lovely thing about this farm is that it's a crucible in which we can do anything we want. There is absolutely no such thing as a no. So any ideas we have on almost any subject, whether it's a piece of garden sculpture or planting an avenue of trees, we can do.
And the joyous thing about advancing age is that we don't need to please anyone but ourselves.
Right, a bit more bendy on this one. That's pretty good. Shall we leave it at that?
I'd be delighted to.
The time has arrived. I've been summoned to John's grand unveiling.
We've been working away. It's not quite finished.
Oh my God, it's one of your creations.
It's rather nice that it sort of wobbles in the wind, I think, hopefully.
And the paint, did you paint it or something? Because
Yeah.
it's got the most wonderful green.
Well, the insides are painted.
I love it. And it's the ultimate no-maintenance plant.
I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I especially love the inside of the leaves.
I think if you look when you get the sun on it, it's quite fun.
You're a clever chap. Yeah, no, it looks wonderful.
John's pulled it off again. His metal agave sculpture is a huge success and joins all our other much-loved statues in the garden. Everything is finally coming together. The borders are putting on a glorious display.
I love the sort of strong oranges and the yellow and the red. I love the great explosion of fennel.
From the red spikes of persicaria to the little pops of purple verbena and the splashes of pink cosmos. The riot of colours, shapes and textures never fails to bring a smile. And best of all, the chicken manure has worked. The dogs have stopped digging. It's incredible to see what we have achieved over the last year. And from what was once a building site to an expansive garden bursting with colour, our courtyard and balcony transformed, using containers brimming with flowers and delicious veg, an old farm field now bearing heritage fruits. A few problem spots, solved with John's creative eye. And finally, with the old barn gone, a view and a wildflower meadow on the horizon. At last, we are seeing our months of planning and everyone's hard work come together. Now I can't wait to show it all off to all our friends and family.
We're looking forward to the COVID rules being lifted because this was the whole raison d'etre for making this. We love being sociable and we've made so many sociable areas. We will certainly have 2 or 3 quite big parties to say, we've arrived, we love you all, let's party.
After some military party planning,
Ratty, can you pull that down your end?
and one traditional Indian tent assembly,
I've just got this round-headed finial and Bob's her uncle.
we hope today is the first of many celebrations to come. Table set,
I like tarragon and salmon together.
food sorted,
I'm going to make this one non-alcoholic, and then we'll probably pour some booze into it later.
and drinks mixed.
So good.
It's the first time some of our families have even seen the new house and garden.
You will?
It's one I made earlier.
His favourite.
I bet.
His favourite.
It is a joy to see everyone, both young and the young at heart,
Where are my grandchildren? Here we are.
loving the new garden.
You would never believe that this was a field. How long, a year ago?
It is lovely, and I like the booze.
Yeah, we should go and have a booze match.
Who's next?
I think I'm next.
Okay.
But thanks must go to our brilliant gardening team for seeing through, with a smile, so many of our gardening exploits.
They're good boys.
Congratulations on everything you've done. Oh my God. Yeah. You guys, amazing.
Something like today, the penny really drops. We spent a winter nearly 2 years ago setting up that drift, and look at it now. It is part of the landscape now. So that's incredible, really. Hard work, brute force and ignorance at times, but we got there.
I'll let you guess who's who.
Well, I've noticed everybody who's come has said immediately what a transformation.
It's about landscape. It's obvious that this garden should look as if it's part of the surroundings. So no, it's not exactly as we envisaged it, but it's better.
Wonderful. It's been good fun.
With more adventures on the horizon,
Watch your eye.
I feel so lucky to have all this and John to share it with for, I hope, years to come.
Good health and congratulations on the gardening.